When your offense is able to put up 40 points and the opposing team is down by 15 with only 4 or 5 minutes remaining in the game, there can be no principled reason why your team should not have won. Well, that's the boat that the Baltimore Ravens find themselves in yet again. Here it is, another botched opportunity to close out a game, and we fail to do so. And right now, I'm frustrated. I'm irritated. Most importantly, I think I'm feeling sad for our team. And I know some of you have told me several times, Yolanda, you worry too much. We're good. Don't worry about the Ravens. We've got it. We're set. This is our year. This is our time. And while I want to believe you, what did we just watch? Just the opposite. And so for today, I have questions. I'm not going to recap the entire game because Hendo and I did that last night during our call-in show. And if you missed it, I'll make sure to put the link in the description box below. But for today, I just want to kind of ask some of those introspective questions, the hard questions, the tough ones, the ones that need to be asked. Who are we as a team? And what are we doing? Are we wasting time? Because if we look at last night's game, we should have won that one with ease. I'm not going to put all of the blame on Derrick Henry. I know some people are saying, well, that fumble was so costly. It was. But let's not forget that Justice Hill had a fumble earlier in the game. No, the timing and the momentum and the point in which we were completely different between Justice Hill's fumble and Derrick Henry's. But Derrick Henry, let's not forget, had some amazing runs, incredible runs. But we cannot keep shooting ourselves in the foot and call ourselves Super Bowl contending team. Who are we? We look at Derrick Henry's performance overall, and it was great. It was everything that we needed him to do. But again, when we fumble the ball, and we put the Bills offense right back on the field, what did you think they were going to do? Exactly what they did. March right down the field, Josh Allen airing it out all over us because our defense, and we'll talk about that in a minute, our defense just wasn't there. And they bring the game even closer. But that wasn't enough. Now we have to add insult to injury. We get Lamar Jackson on the field. We soon get them off the field, bring Josh Allen back, and they're able to march right down again, get within field goal range, and take the game by 1 point. This game to me was not about the quarterbacks because both of them had an excellent game. Lamar Jackson was phenomenal in this game. He did exactly what we expected him to do. He tried early on to put this team on his back and will us to victory, but it just wasn't enough. But I'm sure Lamar is going to get blamed for this loss, if he hasn't already. I'm sure the media is all over him. And the narrative is probably going to be, Lamar Jackson, even in the regular season, is a great quarterback, but against certain teams, he just can't do it. Well, is it really Lamar Jackson, or is there a bigger issue underlining? Let's talk about our defense now for a little bit. We have a problem defensively. Baltimore Ravens has historically been known as the bully defense, the Baltimore Ravens team, the ones that play like Ravens, the ones that are to be feared, the ones that really come out and dominate a game. Did we do that? No, we didn't. Now, were there instances where we had a few players out there on the field trying their best to make plays? Yes, I'm going to give a complete shout out to Kyle Hamilton, who was flying all over the field, making plays, just trying to wreak some havoc, and he was. And it wasn't enough. He even played through what appears to be some type of injury to his finger. We saw, his hand was swollen. They're taping it up, and he's like, "Coach, put me in the game. I got to play." And if you would have told me during the game that Roquan Smith would have been our leader in tackles, I would have said, no, he wasn't. But yes, he was. It just didn't appear that way. But for me, my biggest concern, two things. Why did we not get Josh Allen on the ground? We had one sack on Josh Allen, and that's late in the game from Nnamdi Madubuike. Where is the pressure coming from this defense? Where is our pass rush? No one could get to Josh Allen. No one. And the brand of football that we play, we should be able to get to any quarterback. How are we going to get stops in these games? Where are the turnovers? That is something that we said all offseason. We're paying these defensive players. We're paying Nnamdi Madubuike. We paid Broderick Washington a couple of off seasons ago. We brought in Jair Alexander, who had a terrible game. We brought in, we're drafting these safeties. We're drafting these corners. We're trying to bolster this roster. We bring in Mike Green. Why? To have a payoff. No deposit, no return. Well, guess what? We've made a deposit. We've made a significant financial investment into this defense, and did it pay off the way we would have expected? Because when the defense doesn't show up consistently, that means the offense has to be all but perfect. And even though they were close to perfection, there was a lot that I think could have been cleaned up in terms of, like, we're not going to rehash about the offensive line because it's just not going to get any better. Right now, this is what we have. But that entire right side of Lamar Jackson is a concern. It is a huge question mark. And to say it's not, we're kidding ourselves. But more importantly, if our offense doesn't perform like picture perfect, if the defense is not holding up on their end of the bargain and they're not carrying their weight, what good is it? Yeah, Zay Flowers went off and had a really good game, over 100 and some odd receiving yards, and that's wonderful. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to stop your opponent. And the issue that I have right now with the Ravens is we lack discipline, number one, but more importantly, we're an imbalanced team. And you have to have balance in order to win these games, especially these difficult ones. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills. They're a great team. They beat us last year, and they just beat us again. We should have been better prepared, but we weren't. So what's the common denominator here? These issues that are plaguing the Ravens have not just started this year or last year with our new defensive coordinator. These are issues that we've been seeing for years, year after year. The questionable play calling, the conservative play, the fact that we can't close out games. Our offense can do well, but our defense doesn't, or vice versa. We've seen it. So now it's a matter of figuring out what the real issue is and calling it out for what it is. We had a call-in show last night, and several of the callers came through and they brought very valuable information, and it makes you think. Because I personally have not been one that has said our coach, John Harbaugh, is the problem. Well, guess what? I'm starting to really believe that John Harbaugh is the problem. We need to have a better game plan against these teams. We go up against the Browns in a week. You mean to tell me Myles Garrett's not going to look at that right side of the offensive line and say, this is laughable? Of course he is. And the competition doesn't just dwindle at that point. We have a very tough schedule, at least for these first 6 weeks. And either we figure it out, or we can just keep going through the motions. Being a really good team that wins majority of its games, 80% of the games, 90%, we're, 13 and 4, 14 and 3, whatever the record is at the end of the season. And then that's just it. And then it's see you later. We're either a first or second round exit in the playoffs because we just don't have what it takes. But the sad part about it is, and what really bothers me, is this roster. We do have what it takes. We do. But there is a disconnect between what we have on paper and what we show on the field on Sunday. And yes, we have to place the blame equally. There has to be execution. The players have to come out and they have to execute. But at what point do we not hold accountable the person where it all begins? John Harbaugh. And so for this, I guess my questions are, and please let me know in the chat, what do you think of our team right now? Is this a time for us to overreact, or is it not? Or is this really a time for us to say, we have issues, Let's not pretend that we don't. Let's not gloss over and say, man, we're going to be fine. It's just one game. It's just one loss. It's no big deal. But we still have John Harbaugh's coaching decisions. Is it time for us to say that Zach Orr as defensive coordinator is not it? We have to answer these tough questions, whether we want to or not, if we expect to improve. Because otherwise, we're going to be right where we were last season. And I guess the major question I have, where do we go from here? Because if last night was a litmus test, we failed. And some things are going to have to change in order for us to get over the hump. We're either willing to make those sacrifices now or we're not. But, shout out to Malachi Starks. He had a pretty good game. He did miss that first interception that really could have been his. I mean, it was just gift wrap for him, but he's a rookie. What do you expect? Tyler Loop, he had a really good game. He missed that extra point, which could have been the difference maker. But again, do you want to put all of the weight on your kicker, especially your rookie kicker, in his debut NFL first regular season game? That's a lot. So for all of those seasoned veterans, for all of those seasoned defensive players who've been around the league for a few years, who didn't really have a solid game, let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. But we need to make some moves, and we need to do it swiftly, because the AFC is not the conference to just be falling behind. Well, family, that is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. You may see us back later this evening. Hendo and I might be able to get together and do another call-in show. Keep your post notifications turned on so that you don't miss content released on this channel. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new, and I will see you very soon. We got a lot to talk about this week about our Baltimore Ravens. Take care, family.